You were pretty forthcoming with that particular admission. I'm honest, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm tired of all the killing. But back then, I felt that death was my path. I embraced it and strove to learn what it had to teach. I have made my peace with that. I am happy to admit it. Aren't I, boy? Yes. Yes, I am. Basically, he thought nothing of murdering the president. And not only is he an assassin, he's now a prison escapee, not something to be trifled with. We can't afford for him to not talk. For him not to talk. I need to tread as carefully as I can. Very well, you killed the president, and you're happy to admit it. Very much so. I wouldn't want you thinking that I drew my blade and missed. That meant I, too, had become an inconvenience in need of removal.
Hold it!
You, a target, but you're an assassin. Please, Kay, don't feel the need to add a problem of your own. Impertinence is inherent to the way of the assassin. Life takers' lives are taken. So it goes. It happens occasionally. It is not what happened this time. The imposter president, Winner Lagarde, all three were keen to guarantee my silence.
Hold it!
But Mr. Canis, you're a professional killer and famously skillful. Surely escaping even 3 attackers would have been little more than a minor inconvenience. You overestimate me, Mr. Edgeworth. You seem to forget that without helmet here, I couldn't even walk down the street. Against 3 assailants, I wouldn't have lasted more than a few moments. I see, so even the most proficient assassins are ill-equipped to face a full frontal assault. We're not hugely fond of such situations, shall we say. I certainly wouldn't have liked my chances. Not what he's saying, Edgy. I mean, he's come to terms with the fact that he's a very bad person and feels no fucking guilt. The man be disabled. If I hadn't met my friend, the young pup, again, they might have even succeeded. What does he mean by again? Oh, I'm glad you're on the same page as me, Edgeworth. Again, so the two of you met before. Yes, on a cold and lonely Christmas Eve 18 years back. Not long ago. Oh, why? Punishment. But on that occasion, it was I who saved his life. It's ruining your VOD, okay? It's fine. It was snowing more than it had in 9 years, cold enough that death by freezing was a real possibility. I had taken Helmet out for a little walk. He noticed something and bounded off through the snow. When I caught up to him, he was sniffing at a car. Doors had frozen shut. It took all the strength I had, but I eventually managed to open one. Hi, Takai. Tell Takai I said hi. Inside, I found 2 young boys shivering and semi-conscious. 2? Yes. I'd found them even an hour later, the poor wretches would have never made it. I took them both to a nearby orphanage. Is it me, or is there something significant about what he just told us? There isn't, it's fine. What is it about Canis's statement that's especially noteworthy? Good date. This was on Christmas Eve, 18 years ago. You're certain of that? I am. Oh, Fender caught up. Good job, Eddie. We have something that shows why that date is so significant. Which piece of evidence relates to the date on which Mr. Canis found the children? This is it. Yeah, this is the murder of Artie Frost. Presente. That was the same day on which a certain incident occurred, the murder of a well-known sculptor. Oh fuck. An incident in the aftermath of which 2 children went missing.
Welcome, Raiders.
Hey Zephyr, how was your D&D game? Please tell me all about it, and also don't forget to eat and drink and stretch and pee and all of those after stream things. D&D was wild. Nice. The son of the victim, Artie Frost, and the son of the murderer, Carmelo Gusto. Forget all about the children, Eddie. Intriguing. The son of a murderer and the son of his victim. I suppose that would make sense. It would. One of the boys was bound hand and foot, you see. Indeed, because without his son to taste his creations, Mr. Gusto would have had no chance of winning. So that was what was behind it all. Sadly, neither of the boys were able to remember any such details. They weren't? No, when we meet each other again on that night 12 years ago, the young pup explained it to me. Seems that they really were on the brink of death when I found them. And the shock of that experience caused them both to lose their memories. They weren't even able to remember their names. If what he's telling us is true, that would seem likely, yes. Which means we still don't have enough to tell us who our mastermind might be. Mr. Canis, would you mind telling us what happened next? By all means. Pop and I remained in contact even after I was sent to prison. But then I stopped hearing from him. I couldn't help but worry. And then people from 12 years ago started cropping up all over the place. It rather piqued my curiosity, so I thought I'd temporarily regain my freedom and look into things. People from 12 years ago? You mean Lagarde, Winner, and the president, I assume? I fear I wasn't kind to her as I could have been. And she did try to have me killed. You already know why, of course. Because you murdered President Wang, but they needed the world to believe he was still alive. If somebody had exposed the president as a fake, would have been bad for Lagarde and Chairman Winner, too. Exactly, and not only that, I happened to overhear something else intriguing that night. I'll be at the orphanage in the evening of the 9th. I'll be waiting in the front yard. I thought you could meet him if you like, even if it's only just this once. I know you're a very busy man, but anyway, that's where we'll be. Goodbye. I don't have a voice for Wang. I know who you are, President Wang. I couldn't help overhearing the news. Congratulations. Oh, please don't worry about your son. I only kill those I am employed to kill, which in this case means you. I thought he was going to beg for his life, but no. Interesting character. Told him I was not aware that he had a child. No, he said, and shook his head. Neither was I, but the world will know that I have one now. I mean to make sure of it. I've even prepared something in case the worst comes to the worst. The son in question, the young gentleman with the horns here, correct? What? You are blind. Why would you identify him by the horns? Thank you, Kay. I don't need to, my dear. I've been listening very carefully, you see. And for longer than you may realize. So the president meant to tell the world about Sean, and prepared something in case of the worst. It was not enough to simply have Canis' word on the matter. Of course. Name in the recording, the preparations he had made, and his will. With those 3 pieces of information, I was able to convince Warden Lagarde to do anything I asked. With the information at his disposal, he could have exposed the truth about the body double at any time. And Sean's true identity with it. Sean's having a bad time. President Wang was more agile than I anticipated. He blocked my first knife thrust with something soft. By the time the piece I'd broken off hit the snow, my next strike had hit its mark. So it was Canis who tore the horn off the Taurosaurus doll. I was the only one present to hear his final words. Only one who knew the truth about his son. Well, me and that poor pup.
Hold it!
Yes. So you were able to continue communicating with him from prison? I was. Via a post office box. It's a means of exchanging mail without revealing one's own address. I never knew where he was, and I wasn't able to slip out and track him down. I was being kept under rather strict supervision, you see. My Warden Lagarde, no doubt. What were the 2 of you even communicating about? We were playing correspondence chess, of course. That, and griping about our respective lots in life. As unlikely as it may seem, Mr. Canis' chess opponent was Mr. Knight. We found the diagram of the game in his cell, too. Wait, could that be it? Oh, only this. Very peculiar ring.
Take that!
This is everything Knight left behind. Could there be a clue in here somewhere? A ring and a chess set. Which one should we look at more closely? The ring. Indeed, it looks like someone turned the stamp he used to sign his work into a ring. But why would Knight have been carrying it? And why was it not with the rest of the evidence from the IS-7 incident? including the seal, it would seem, which he turned into a ring and wore until his own death. Knight is dead. How could he possibly be involved in a current case? A little perplexing, but then who else could it be?
Hold it!
He stopped responding. That seems strange. I'm glad you agree. Helmet did it too, of course. He does not need to talk in order for me to hear him, my dear. He might be. Kay really isn't fond of Canis's pet, it seems. Yes, there's a good boy. Now where was I? Of course, suddenly stopped hearing from the pup. Right.
Hold it!
It does seem a little too much of a coincidence, doesn't it? An attempt was made on the life of the man who was pretending to be President Wang after all these years. What in the God murdered Bronco Knight while he was being held at the prison she ran. An Excelsius winner, chairman of the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence, murdered Rosie Ringer. And the more I think back, the more it seemed at the time that some mysterious other presence was lurking behind all those incidents. Yes, even from behind the bars, it was rather obvious that something strange was going on.
Hold it!
You thought you'd temporarily regain your freedom. Could you be any more brazen? I misclicked. Fear not. Nobody was injured in the course of my escape. It wasn't necessary, after all. I have my ways. Let's leave it at that, shall we? There'll be no need for that, Detective. As soon as my business is concluded, I'll return home to my cell. Strange that you should say that. Weren't you the one who strolled in to try and dig into my past only recently? Agent Lang, Detective Gumshoe. I need to be able to question Mr. Canis further. Could you both try to remain calm for now? Gumshoe's like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm a good boy. Look at me and my golden retriever giant eyeballs. It's fine. Just a lot of dog people here. Oh, this is interesting. I did so used to enjoy tapping out my little letters in Braille. This is a correspondence. Here it is. Present. You said that you wrote all of your letters in Braille, is that correct? Don't mean to be rude, Mr. Prosecutor, but you do know about my condition, don't you? That's odd, because the chess diagram we found in Night Cell didn't contain any braille at all. Really? But surely that's impossible. How so, exactly? Meaning there may have been some sort of intermediary between the two of them? Mr. Canis says he wrote his letters in Braille, and yet the letters received by Mr. Knight contained no Braille at all. This suggests that there must be a third party who typed Mr. Canis's letters out. Guess it could have worked the same way on the flip side too, right? Oh, that's funner. Yeah. Knight's letters go through the intermediary, turned into Braille, and sent to Canis. They could indeed. I think you and Mr. Knight were both communicating with this person, Mr. Canis. Mr. Canis, the answers you received. And that same person might well be our secret string puller. Bronco Knight, son of Artie Frost, is already dead. But what if the other child from the incident 18 years ago was actually who we've been looking for? If Knight was Frost's son, Gusto's son would have to be. Him? But surely not. You guys ready for the big reveal? Of course, it all makes sense. I know exactly who our so-called mastermind is. I can hardly believe it, but it's somebody we know rather well. The person we've been looking for is... It's Simeon. It's Simeon Saint. Who is Knight's only friend? Is this idiot?
Take that!
It has to be. The person behind all of this. The person who forced Chairman Winner's hand by sending the letter to Rosie Ringer. The person who kidnapped Sean and bugged Kay and myself. The person who did the strangest thing of all. Who drugged Kay and carried her up to the roof of the big building. It was the monster. Yes, the monster. That was the key to unmasking our mastermind. Look, it's Max. This guy is Max. He's not in this game. He was in a previous game. In, like, what everyone is largely says is the worst case of all of Ace Attorney. Oh, we got D&D shit. There was a cult trying to res a dead god of lies, and we needed to stop the final ritual. We didn't, but I was able to consume enough of the god energy to avoid the entire region from becoming drowned in magic. So are you like super powered now? Do you have like god-like powers? Are you Magic Boy? Are you a Sailor Scout now? Miss Lloyd, could I ask a favor? A little old me, what kind of favor? You told us you recorded the sound of the Taurosaurus breathing fire. Sure did. Like I said, I don't precisely see the guy, but boy did I hear him. Can we listen to the tape? You surely can. Let's see now. What's it? That sound must be what I think it is. My theory has to be correct. The truth about the monster, the identity of the person behind all of this, it's all falling into place. Not yet, but I have a little more juice. Problem is, the god of lies got out of his box. At least everyone lived, so we have time for me to go full Sailor Scout. Nice. Sailor Cat Zephyr. Ms. Hot, you saw a giant eye in the window of the storeroom, did you not? Yep, snap me a picture of it too. Even if you can't rightly see it so well. We can't see it right now, but... Promise you. Your image analyzer, can we borrow it again? This photograph right here. Well, I mean, she said it was outside the window, so it's gotta be outside the fucking window. I wonder where it could be. Could it be outside the window? Oh, do I gotta zoom in? I forgot about zoom in. Zoom in! Check out that shit. It's outside the fucking window. See? I done told you, Tyrannosaurus is his own dang self. Yes. This is a lost. The monster commanded by the architect of this whole scheme. The cow noises. You're finally ready to admit it? That he's dang well real? The big bad bull himself?
Objection!
No, because that isn't Tyrannosaurus at all. It's the eye of a different giant beast entirely. Take a look at this, if you would. You see it? The enormous lion balloon. Rawr. That's the real monster, and the sound Ms. Lloyd thought was the creature breathing fire. Oh, come on, you're really gonna bring me crashing down to Earth like this? They do, and our culprit was able to use that balloon to carry Kay up to the roof of the big building without ever going near the elevator. You forgot to mention trainee animal tamer. It's hard to believe. But he's the one who's been pulling the strings this whole time. That's right, Simeon Saint is the one behind all this. I'm sorry, Kay. Who was that? Hey, where do you think you're going, old man? Nothing escapes you, does it, young? My congratulations, Mr. Edgeworth. But now that I know the truth, my business here is done. What? No, Mr. Candace, wait. Bad dog. No. Helmet, no. Don't worry, I'm fine, but usually it's Phoenix that this happens to. Damn you. Oh, you're right, Sean. Killed my dad. He did, right? There's no easy way to say it, but... Sorry, Sean. It appears that he did. He won't get away with it. I'll make him pay. Somehow. Some way I'll...
Overruled.
No, Sean, you mustn't say such things. I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth. You'll have to forgive us both. I suppose you're right. We should go after the mastermind right now. He said he had to practice for the show, which I guess means he'll be at the circus. But before we leave, there's something I'd like to ask of you, Agent Lang. Once a beast has been sighted, the next step is to plan its capture. When we arrive, there's something we'll need to try and find as a matter of priority. And Detective, I'd like you to look into something that's been bothering me about Sean's kidnapping. Good. And there's somebody I'd like you to try and contact. If Saint really is our mastermind, we're going to need this person's help. Between our many encounters, I never suspected a thing, even though he was right there in front of me. I messed up. There's no other way of putting it. I'm going to put things right once and for all. To be continued. I'm checking how much more is. A lot. Okay. 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 Give me just a second. Oof. April 6th, 5:30 p.m. Very big circus, big top.
Oh, hi, Mr. Edgeworth.
Did you guys come to watch the show? Hello, Ms. Berry, Mr. Saint. You're a little early, I'm afraid. We're still practicing. But I'm glad you kept your promise. Yes, I remember you giving me this. That's so great. You're gonna have so much fun. I think even you'll be surprised, Mr. Edgeworth. I think you've surprised me enough for one day already.
What are you talking about?
Would you mind looking at this photograph, Miss Berry? It's the eye painted on the balloon you used to advertise the circus, correct?
Oh, yeah. What is this exactly?
I have a strong suspicion that that balloon was used by the criminal we've been looking for.
You do?
Who's usually in charge of the balloon, if you don't mind my asking?
Oh, that would be Simeon. Oh, wait, you don't mean...
Mr. Saint, you took the balloon out late the other night, didn't you?
Sure, I was practicing. I'm still pretty bad at flying it, so I need to put in some extra hours.
At night, when it would have been even more difficult than usual.
Strange time to decide to practice. But why else would I have taken the blue now? What are you saying? That you weren't practicing at all. You were taking an unconscious K to the top of big building. In order to frame her for the murder of Rosie Ringer. The security cameras never recorded Kay taking the elevator up to the roof, which means she must have gotten there another way, from the sky. And the only person able to make that happen would have been you. But Mr. Edgeworth, I don't understand. That's not all you did. You also attacked Sean at the garbage disposal area, drugged him and carried him away. And that's why you were late for the hearing at the courthouse, wasn't it? I'm sorry, but I don't know what you're talking about. Why would I do any of those things? Please, you have to believe me. I'd never, ever do anything like that. I wish I could believe you, but I can't. Any trust I had in you has been completely destroyed. But that's horrible. Why would you say that? You told me back at the jail, you said you believed I was innocent. This is just awful. I never thought you'd lie to me. You said you knew what it was like to be me. I trusted you. That hurts, Kate. It hurts so much.
Objection!
I see it now. That's your strategy, isn't it? With everybody. You root out their psychological weakness and exploit them. And without even realizing it, they wind up doing exactly what you want them to. Exactly the behavior one would expect from the manipulator behind all of our recent troubles. I was too blind to see it before, but you won't fool me again. Simeon Saint, you are guilty of crimes too numerous to mention. Oh, so that's how you want to play it, huh? You always did have the courage of your convictions, I guess. Luckily, training people's self-belief in dust is kind of a hobby of mine. You don't look very different, my dude. Well done, all of you. Well, this is certainly a side of him we haven't seen before. So much for the trainee animal tamer who wouldn't have to fly. I guess that was all an act. But I'm glad we're finally getting to meet the real you.
Simeon? This can't be true, can it?
Truth, lies, what does it matter? Gonna switch Simeon's voice up.
Huh?
All you need to know is that Mr. Edgeworth here has made me very mad indeed. And now he's going to pay. Sure, I went up in the balloon a couple of nights ago, but I was just practicing. I guess somebody took that picture when I flew by the big building. I fly around the area doing promo stuff for the circus all the time. Nothing to see here, Miles. Nothing at all. Yep. He has full control of the cute little animals in the circus. He's crazy. You go up in the balloon reasonably often. Yeah, promoting the circus, like I said. Is that true, Ms. Barry?
It's true it's Simon's job to go up in the balloon and spread the word. I guess just about everybody in the whole area would have seen him up there by now.
Well, that same balloon was used in the commission of a crime. Nonsense, I just happened to be in the area when it happened. Somebody took a picture while I was floating past the big building, that's all. I'll be the judge of whether you just happened to be nearby. Thank you very much.
Hold it!
This balloon, do you usually launch it from here at the circus? No, you need a wide open space. There's a park over by Sunshine Coliseum. That's where I usually take off from. I see. And how do you get the balloon to the park to launch it? Not by hand, that's for sure. That thing must weigh a few hundred pounds. Kind of impressive that it can even get off the ground now that I think about it. I'd prefer if you didn't change the subject. How do you transport the balloon? Wow, give a guy a break, will you? It's not like I was getting miles off track, sheesh. We use a truck, okay? You just load it in the back and away you go. A truck, you say? Yeah, last time I took it out would have been 2 days ago. That could be important. Gotta keep it in mind. Day before last. Do I just present this now? I think so. You want this? Hey, did the right thing. This truck, it wouldn't happen to be blue by any chance. So what if it is? We happened to see a blue truck ourselves just today, one with a large basket loaded on the back. If that was the truck you told us about, then your statement about it not having been moved in 2 days is a lie. Emma's here. Agent Lang, Emma.
There you are, Mr. Edgeworth, at last. I've been trying to find you ever since we wrapped up the case yesterday. He sent me a message saying you were here, so I came right away.
Color balloon used for promotional purposes. Saint is in charge of it and it drives around on the back of the truck. Welcome back from adverts, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. Well, well. I think that truck might be the one we saw earlier today. In fact, I'm almost certain of it.
Objection!
Oh, you get voice cues now? Why? Just because it's blue? Like a million other trucks? What makes you so sure it's the exact same one?
Objection!
That wasn't me. Worthless are the words of a man who can't back up his claims with evidence. Show me. I demand proof. I must be able to prove it somehow. It's the same truck, I'm sure of it. The engine's cold, which means it's been here for a while. What can I use to prove it's the same truck? Fingerprint dusting. Hi Redria, welcome in. I hope you enjoy your nap. I'd like to have the truck dusted for fingerprints. Huh? Why would you want to do that? Because I expect to find a certain very specific set of prints. And if I do, that will prove beyond all doubt that it's the truck we saw in front of the big building. Whose prints will prove that it was the truck we saw? And mine, because we touched it. We were fondling that truck all up in here. Yours? You think you're gonna find your own prints on there? I do, because I put my hand on your truck when I saw it in front of the big building. Let's see what we can find, shall we? Emma, could you lend us your scientific skills one more time?
That's why I'm here. One moment, please. Alrighty. Take it away, Mr. Edgeworth.
Oh, me?
Of course. Who else did you think was gonna do it? Don't worry, it's easy. I'll show you how.
Fine. Although I don't see why you can't just do it yourself.
So just spread the powder over the area you want to search for prints. Like this. It sticks to fingerprints, so once you've found one, make sure to dump it plenty on there. And then blow away the excess.
Blow it away.
Yeah, with your mouth, silly. Huh, like that. Alright, you got all that?
So this was originally on the DS, so you just blew into the microphone? I think there is a microphone on the fucking Switch, but I haven't found it, so I don't know if you can blow into the mic on the Switch. I'm not sure it even has one. But if you can, somebody please tell me where the fuck it is. Yes, thank you. Not to try it for real.
Oh, there's no such thing as too much powder, by the way. Go crazy.
It is really best to do like full coverage, unless you're doing a speed run. But then why are you playing speedrun Ace Attorney? I mean, it's an odd choice. What are you doing with your fucking life? I'm sure I have more than covered it. Yeah. I wasn't sure where it would be on this screen, because it's much wider than the DS screen. Can we compare my prints right away?
Yep, leave it to me. That confirms it. It's Mr. Edgeworth's print, alright.
And with that, another lie is exposed.
Yeah.
Oh, just driving around for fun, you know.
Objection!
Kay was abducted 2 nights ago, and your balloon was sighted nearby. Then today, another abduction, this time involving a truck supposedly used to transport garbage. And your truck was sighted nearby.
Objection!
Coincidence is nothing more. You want me to believe that you were near the scene of the 2 separate abductions simply by chance? Just be honest, you were involved in both. What makes you think they're even connected?
Objection!
A certain very important piece of evidence, that's what. Oh, this should be good. What connects Kay and Sean's abduction? This shit. Freezies. He even sang a little song about it. Kay was drugged with a dose of the powerful sedative, and a bottle of sedatives was found right where Sean was being held captive. The very same brand, no less.
Objection!
Huh. I knew you'd try something like this. So the same sedative was used, so what? Does that mean everything's connected? You know as well as I do, that doesn't prove anything for sure. We must have something. There must be a piece of evidence that can tie him to both crimes. Cops, prosecutors, you, Miles, you're all the same at the end of the day. You force the evidence to fit the crime, or you flat out make it up, just as long as somebody goes to jail. You know, different from a certain other evidence tamperer we've had the misfortune of meeting.
Objection!
No, I'm nothing like him.
Objection!
Then show me. Hit me with your killer piece of evidence. You must have one, right? No use. We don't have anything that can tie him directly to both kidnappings. Also, how the fuck does this twat know about Von Karma? Okay, so you're done there, Miles. No more cheap shots left to fire? Great, well, I have a show to be rehearsing for, so if you don't mind.
Objection!
Yes, Eddie? I don't want your good looks running down your face now. What are you sticking your nose in for? I just sense the vibe getting a little harsh. Alright. Objection. What are you? Take this seriously, will you? We can worry about whether or not this is the right thing to do later. It's my last chance to try and prove a connection between Mr. Saint and his crimes. Let's forget the kidnapping for now. Is there anything else that suggests he is our mastermind? Of course. Hannes was looking for our secret string puller too, the young pup, as he called him. If I could prove that Mr. Saint was the same young pup, then perhaps... What evidence do I have that might point to him being involved behind the scenes? The same piece of evidence that we already used. It's like... Well, we used it on Canis, we haven't used it here.
Take that!
That's right, our mastermind was involved in Canis and Knight's correspondence chess exchange. I can prove that Mr. Saint was the hidden intermediary between two of them. Alright, that's enough, this is getting painful. You don't have anything, and I have to practice for the show, so if you don't mind...
Objection!
Thank you, Mr. Fender, I can take it from here, and I can't take any more of your interventions. I'm Simon, the funny clown. Look at me, I'm juggling. Okay, you can stop now. Mr. Saint, you're a fan of chess, I take it? Where did that come from? That's sure I don't hate it. Our secret string puller was playing correspondence chess with Mr. Canis.
Objection!
I thought Bronco was the one playing chess with Canis. You're saying he was your so-called mastermind?
Objection!
No, it wasn't him. Whoever it was went on manipulating events even after Knight's death. Take a look at this letter, if you would. Who do you think could have written it? I believe it was the person who had inserted themselves between Mr. Canis and Knight. And you think that person was me? Why would I go through all that trouble? That's crazy. Make it appear that the two men were connected and communicating directly with one another. The very fact that led Fifi Lagarde to murder him.
Objection!
Listen to yourself. Who do you think I am? Some kind of evil puppet master? Yes, actually. Keep seen me. I can barely get the animals to do what I want. We could find one of the letters he passed between Knight and Canis. That would prove the connection beyond a doubt. I'd like to have your room searched. I believe we might find... letters? You won't. Trust me. What? Once I'm done with something, I put it straight in the trash. I guess I'm not the sentimental type. Why get hung up on the past, right? He must have disposed of any incriminating items in order to cover his tracks. Guess you went in without evidence you needed once again, huh? That's a bad habit, you know. So this doesn't prove anything either. We've fallen short yet again. What do we do now? Are we out of options? You accuse me of betraying my friend and you don't even have any proof. You're despicable. Who was that?
Oh, hi.
Ms. Berry, what does she want?
Sorry, it's just, I was thinking about what you were saying, and, this night person, you mean Bronco, right? Simon's friend.
Yes, what of it? She knew something.
A letter came for him this morning, for Simon.
What? What did you... How is this possible? Knight is dead. Miss Berry, we need to see this letter right away.
Sure, here you go.
It's another correspondence chest letter. Can't wait to see your face when you lose. You're never gonna beat me, not at chess. It's postmarked the 26th of March, the day before Knight died. I guess it must have gotten held up en route.
Well, we do move around a lot. It's part of being a traveling circus. Our mail arrives late all the time.
Interesting that it's addressed directly to you, Mr. Saint.
Yeah.
This is it, isn't it? The proof we needed that you were the one facilitating Mr. Canis and Mr. Knight's games. One of the letters you would have transcribed into Braille, in order to create the illusion that they were somehow connected. Yeah, it was Simeon the whole time, Mio. Are you surprised? I was surprised. Go out and try and eat pasta? Oh, enjoy your pasta. Curse you, Bronco. You're still getting in my way even now. I hate you. I hate you. Simeon.
Oh, could you?
I don't think Simeon needs friends. We weren't friends. You think this doofus is hot? I stopped thinking he was my friend 18 years ago. It's a Jareth ass face, you think so? Excuse me, I need tea. Right around the time of the IS-7 incident, in other words. I nearly froze to death because of him. I was just about to head out and meet my dad at the contest. But then Bronco showed up. He pinned me down and tied me up. He was crying the whole time, whining on and on. I'm sorry, but my dad says I have to do this, and if I don't do what he'll say, he's so scary. Stop it, Bronco, stop it. I have to go meet my dad, I promise. I'm not there to taste his candy for him. He'll be so upset. He needs me. If I don't go, he won't be able to show everybody he's the best in the world. But no, he locked me in the car with him, and the two of us nearly died. He thought he could get out when he tried the door was frozen shut. We were trapped. And that's how I lost my dad. Yeah, Bronco's dad killed mine. He's the son of a murderer. What does he mean? That doesn't match up with what we know at all. Simeon, the victim in the IS-7 incident, was a guy named Artie Frost. Yeah, that's my dad's name. My memories got kind of scrambled that day. What little I remembered was pretty mixed up. So I didn't find out until later that my dad was murdered. The murderer was a man named Camillo Gusto, a confectioner. Really? I never knew Bronco's father's name. Or maybe I chose not to remember. Ugh, just thinking about that sicko that killed my dad turns my stomach. Mr. Saint, are you sure you didn't know the name of the murderer until just now? Do you think I'd sit on it if I did? No, I'd have reported him to the police straight away. All I knew was that Bronco's dad tricked my dad. And that's how I knew my dad was the one who was killed that day. Bronco was a traitor. He helped his father murder mine. He was the son of a cold-blooded killer. He deserved to die.
Objection!
I'm sorry, Mr. Saint, but you've made a mistake. A big one. A mistake? What do you mean? Artie Frost was a sculptor. He'd been working in France not long before the murder. Under the name Paul Harlequin. And so I hear, but I don't remember anything about that. I wish I could. Well, I'm afraid it's only natural that you don't, because he wasn't your father. Huh? Is this your idea of a joke? Well, it's not funny, not at all. You're right, it's not. But you need to know the uncomfortable truth. This piece of evidence proves you're not Artie Frost's son. Do I have the photograph, or... No, I don't, so it's this, then.
Take that!
Bronco's chess set and a ring. Yes, take a look at the ring for me if you would. What does the engraving on it tell you? It's 2 letters, right? It is. And this is the seal with which Paul Harlequin used to mark his works. It was found next to Artie Frost's body 18 years ago. But why would Bronco have a memento of my father? The police looked for Frost's son for a long time, and eventually they found him. The ring was handed over to the man they were able to prove was his child, Bronco Knight. But that's not... That would mean I was... Precisely, that you are in fact the son of Camillo Gusto. No, that can't be. My dad was... I remember, don't I? Bronco tied me up and locked me in that car. It was his fault I lost my dad. He deserved to die, didn't he? No way. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. Oh, speaking of which, I put a little something in your chess set. But you can take a look at it later. If you hadn't detained me 18 years ago, it wouldn't have had to end like this. Me? Oh, it was nothing. Goodbye, Bronco, and farewell. I did all that, and now you're telling me it was my father who killed Broncos? And what was all this for? I didn't want to wind up dead too. I didn't want to be weak and vulnerable. So that's why I tried to be like Canis. I stayed in touch with him all these years. And there we have it. The truth at last. Mr. Saint, you were Mr. Canis's correspondence chess partner. And you were the one manipulating events this whole time. Yeah, you're right, it was me. It was me all along. At last, he's finally telling the truth. I was the one who witnessed the murder 12 years ago, but you knew that already. The president's assassination, just as we thought. Which means he's the one who drew the picture. And they knew it too, that's why. The guard kept questioning me. The guard kept questioning me day in and day out. It got so I couldn't face what I knew the next day would bring. I was a nervous wreck. Who could blame me for wanting to get out of there? But I imagine it wasn't as easy as simply running away. Winter would have sent his men after you. No matter where I went, they were on me. They never stopped coming. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. I couldn't sleep at night. Even the smallest noise had me chasing shadows. It drove me crazy. So I joined the circus. At least that way, moving from place to place was part of the job. My whole life I've been up against the chief prosecutor and the warden of a prison. No regular person could hope to stand up to people like that. From the time I was a child, I had nobody. They weren't even the worst of it. The body double was behind it all, controlling everything. He may have been a fake, but he was the president of an entire country. What hope did I have? There was only one person I could turn to. Canis, the man who saved my life. He wasn't like Bronco. He really did want to help me. That's quite the claim. Strange to think of a famously ruthless assassin winning the admiration of a child he saved. He showed me how to stop being a victim, to stop being hunted, and become a hunter myself. And they all became my prey. But I doubt even you imagined the body double would ever go so far as to co-opt our country's police. No, I sure didn't. And as long as Winter was around, no evidence was ever going to stand. He even nearly managed to ruin things this morning. The guard almost got away with it again. But I know him now like the back of my hand. I could see exactly how it was going to all go down. So we saw right through their plan. How Chairman Winter would try to suppress the evidence in Warden Lagarde's trial. I see. And that's why you kidnapped Sean, correct? You wanted to force a guilty verdict regardless of the presence of evidence or rule of law.
Objection.
Maybe I did, but how else was I gonna make them pay for what happened 12 years ago? Whatever helps you sleep at night, but Winter pulled one last surprise, didn't he? He tried to kidnap Sean himself in hopes of influencing the verdict. In other words, you chose the exact same course of action as the man you so fervently claimed to hate.
Objection.
That's only if I'd actually kidnapped anyone at all. But I'd never do anything so wicked, never ever. Me commit a crime? No. And besides, I don't hate the three of them. If anything, I'm grateful. If they hadn't done what they did, my revenge wouldn't have been nearly as fun.
Objection.
So you admit it. Your motive in all of this was nothing more than revenge. Sure, admit it. So what? I despise every single one of them. But here's the kicker. I didn't kill anybody. The most you can blame me for is writing the odd letter here and there. A quick note to Ringer to tell her about Winter and another to him so he knew about her. But the fact that they wanted to kill each other and one of them succeeded, that was all on them. So you take no responsibility for the fact that your actions resulted in multiple murders. Right. Same thing at Gold Lake. People are much easier to control than animals, you know. The whole fake assassination plot, I handed that to Bronco on a plate. That was part of the plan too. So Rook's murder was...
Objection.
No. That was all Bronco's idea. Nothing to do with me at all. Still, it moved things in the right direction, wouldn't you say? Isn't fate a crazy thing? Setting the guard up was easy too. I just made it seem like Knight and Canis were in contact with each other. And slipped the chisel inside the chess set. So it was you who put it there. Yeah, it was. I thought it might point everybody nicely in Canis' direction. Worked out pretty well, even if I do say so myself. Who knew that would be all it took to make that awful woman murder poor Bronco? I guess she got to where she saw enemies everywhere she looked. It was a feeling. Even the smallest thing can send your paranoia into overdrive, and then things get ugly quickly. I had a front row seat for the whole show. You were the last piece to be put into play, of course. Who, me? You solved both cases and finally brought down Winner and the God. I guess you could say your powers of deduction were the weapon that put an end to them both.
Objection.
You didn't solve those cases for your sake. Sure, you didn't know you were doing me a favor. You were just playing at being an attorney for a little while, right? What did you say? All I had to do was cower and say no a few times. And you rode to my rescue like the hero you are. Was getting arrested part of your plan too? No, that wasn't something I expected, I have to admit. I never thought they'd take the chisel for the murder weapon. That was the real plot twist. Made my blood run cold for sure. But then who should come through with the turnabout to end all turnabouts? The greatest legal mind of his generation, my knight in shining armor. I bet it felt pretty good saving me like that, huh? You ought to thank me, you know. I didn't do that for many people. Okay. Aw, did he? You sure he wasn't trying on his dear departed daddy's shoes for size? You think I care what you have to say about me? Consider this for a second. I've gotten my revenge on everybody I set out to get it from, and yet... You can't prove I incited anything. Think about it, I never actually did anything. What was my crime exactly? Explain it to me. You think you can pin an indictment charge on me? Or an incitement charge on me? Read my letters. I don't mention murder anywhere. If I did, maybe you'd have a case. Maybe you could say I encouraged them. It's the same story as always, I'm afraid. You can't prove I did anything at all. Sorry, but did I miss the part where you proved that? All I ever admitted to was sending letters. Letters which didn't threaten, coerce, or encourage anybody to do anything. I just passed on what you might call pertinent information. He's a slippery one, I'll give him that. Incitement, Kay. It means to encourage or direct another person to commit a crime. In the eyes of the law, it's seen as equivalent to committing the crime itself. You say that like it's gonna be easy. Guess maybe you're not so big on due process after all. You think you can make me carry the can for murders I had nothing to do with? Think again. I don't even have to talk to you if I don't want to. In fact, why am I still talking to you?
Knuckle back!
Really? You don't think I planned my escape too? What if... just to pluck an idea out of nowhere. I trained all of these vicious wild beasts to attack on command, for example. All I'd have to do is say the word and sidle off stage in the chaos. I'm just spitballing, but you'd pay to see that, wouldn't you? I could just as easily take Sean hostage with the gun I may or may not have in my pocket. Yeah, you know what? It'd make for a killer show. You will do no such thing. It's hard to know what lengths he might actually be prepared to go to. But knowing what we know about him already, we have to be prepared for the worst. Fine, I'll humor you, but once the curtain goes up on this little performance, it better be a lively one. Pour me and we're done here, alright? Let's see if you can keep me entertained, shall we? He's not going to give me an inch. Well, there must be something we can do. We can't let his crimes go unpunished. Is this where I get punished if I press? I think that's what's gonna go on. No, it's just if I fuck up. Okay.
Hold it!
You encouraged others to commit murder, and those murders were duly committed. And if I can prove it, you will be punished just as if you had done the deed yourself. Incitement decay. Chairman Winner, Warden the Guard, and Bronco Knight. All were criminals in their own right and all committed unforgivable acts. But all were induced to commit those acts by somebody behind the scenes. This man right here. You really don't hold back, do you, Miles? But it doesn't change anything.
Hold it!
No at all. What, you didn't look? I can give you a minute if you like. He's clearly confident that I won't find anything. You must have planned those letters down to the last word. Look, I don't want to teach you how to do your job. But if you can't prove I encouraged them to commit those murders, your incitement charge goes up in smoke. Too bad, so sad, huh, Miles?
Hold it!
I know for a fact you made those murders happen. You told me yourself.
Objection.
Did I? And you can prove it? If you can't, this ends here. Just ask yourself, could this sweet, innocent boy have done the things you're saying? No. I hate to admit it, but he's right. Without proof, we have nowhere to go with this. We can only prove what he said on that phone call. It's the same story as always, I'm afraid. You can't prove I did anything at all. Oh wait. Oh wait! Oh wait, Tabby! Do we have the tape? Oh my god. Recording of signals that were intercepted from the bug that was planted in Kay's pin.
Sure.
I'm afraid you're wrong. I have proof that you meant for at least one murder to happen. Because you said so yourself. I said that? Weird, I don't remember. I know you think you can worm your way out of everything. But this time you're wrong. I am. Yes, because our conversation was being recorded. By somebody intercepting the signal from the very listening device you planted. It was. No. Ms. Lloyd, could you play us the tape, please? You bet I can. Got it. It was this part right here. Who is this? You're the one who abducted Kay. Sorry. It was right around here. I was surprised as... Huh? That's weird. Is something wrong, Miss Lloyd? I'll say, seems we maybe didn't quite catch the next part on tape. What? Oh, poor babies. You think I'd leave myself wide open like that? Well, think again. There's something a little special about that bug, you see. It can be turned on and off remotely. So you switched it off to avoid being recorded. Bingo!
Objection!
But how? You would have had to know you were being recorded in the first place.
Objection!
And I did. Of course I did. It was so obvious that somebody was eavesdropping, and that's because... Ms. Lloyd, was it? You knew about the prosecutor's kidnapping. Without any prompting? No. You heard that whole conversation. I did indeed, old pal, but I must say, I thought you would have figured it all out much sooner. Aren't you supposed to be a genius, prosecutor? Now, where were we again? Oh yeah, at the part where you couldn't prove incitement. It was game over. Oh well. Oh shucks, so my tape ain't gonna be of no use to nobody after all? Come on, I must have recorded something you can use. If only that were true. You're the only one who's been in direct contact with him before.
Objection!
It's so sad, relying on flawed evidence, desperately trying to make it stick. Well, that's quite enough of that for now. Next topic, please. He's trying to steer us away from our current line of inquiry. Kay had a one-to-one encounter with him only recently. What if the sound from that point in time had been recorded? Ms. Lloyd, how long were you recording the intercepts from the bug for? In which case, during which time frame would we likely be able to find Mr. Saint's voice on that type? He was kidnapped. 2 nights? Has it really only been 2 nights? The Saint abducted Kay and took her up to the roof of the big building 2 nights ago. What if there was a recording from around that time? Ms. Lloyd, quickly, play us any tape you have from the night before last. Huh? Oh, sure thing. Indeed it is. At around that time, I imagine Mr. Saint would have been transporting you in it. Which means he can't have been too far away from you, or the bug. there anything else on the recording, I wonder? Well, that's a surprise. You turned the bug off then too, it seems. Unluckily for you, you were a little late in doing so. There's no escaping it now. The gunshot ties you directly to the case. Huh? What are you talking about? Nobody ever even mentioned a gun. He's wrong. Somebody involved with this case discharged a firearm. I just need to remember who it was and present a piece of evidence that proves it. Which piece of evidence shows that a gun was used in the incident related to this case? Gunshot residue detected on right hand. Present. It's written right here in the president's autopsy report. Traces of gunshot residue were detected on his hands. And where was Kay when the gunshot was recorded? That's right, it was in the balloon being taken up by you to the top of the big building. However, the roof wasn't as deserted as you needed it to be. Yes, I was there with the president. Wait. Not long after we started talking, he noticed something and told me to leave. And if a gunshot rang out shortly after that. Don't tell me you didn't hear it yourself, Mr. Saint. Not when it sounds crystal clear in this recording. You're just going to pretend to ignore me. What else do you expect me to do when you keep spouting your weird theories? Bang! Ka-chang! Had the president been aiming at Mr. Saint? Or would the bullet have struck? The balloon?
Take that!
He was in the balloon. It didn't hit K. It didn't hit fuckface. Must have been the balloon. I think the president was firing at the balloon. And if he was, what we heard on the tape would have possibly been the balloon, been the bullet hitting the basket. Okay. Oh look, it's a bullet. A hole. There's a bullet hole in the bottom of this basket. I'd call that pretty conclusive proof. Well, Mr. Saint? How do you explain not just the sound on the tape, but the accompanying bullet hole? You see everything, don't you? It's pretty impressive. I have to admit it. I know there's anything I could hide from you if you really wanted to find it. Alright, no need to get cranky.